Hey, what's up everyone? This is Ben Zinn for Epic Guitar Instruction. Thanks for checking out the lesson today. We're going to take a look at the great John Mayer tune, Something Like Olivia, and we're going to look at the solo acoustic version. And it's a really cool tune. As with many of his tunes, so much guitar goodness, and so we're going to try to capture some of that and bring it to you guys out there. So, Something Like Olivia, believe it or not, it's a 3-chord tune, G, C, and D, but it's what he does with those 3 chords that makes it. So we're going to take a look at the chords, but also the overall approach and kind of how you can start grooving on this tune. The basic idea here, chord-wise, is, like I said, just G, C, and D. And we're going to voice those. Here's our basic shapes, and we're going to modify these here in a little bit. So keep this in mind here. We have our G bar chord, and then we're going to play a C chord like this. If you're not too hip on doing that thing with the pinky, don't worry, we're going to take that away in a moment anyways. I just referenced that because there's the C root note, and you can kind of build the rest of it off of that. So that's kind of what we're thinking there for our C. And if you move that up a whole step, you get a D. And once again, when we use these, we're more going to think this sort of shape here. And we're going to do the old thumb over the top of the neck thing to grab the root. This is how he has done it in some of his performances. You know, you can adapt this. So when you play your G chord like this, a couple of things happen. You're spreading out the notes in the voicing. Instead of having everything all blocked together like the bar chord, you typically leave out the 5th string. And so you just get a nice sense of space between the bass register of your guitar and the middle or higher portion. So that's going to be our 3 chords. The trick is, what do we do with them here? We're going to be doing some bass movement and some riffing around. Some of this business here. So the way that I started to learn this tune was I said, all right, there's a lot of things happening rhythmically here, so let me just get down the little bass run first, and then I can add in the other stuff as I get more comfortable with that. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to start out and I just want to get this little riff down and feeling good before I add in some of the strumming. Basically, we're just outlining like a G major pentatonic. We're dressing it up a little bit though with some hammer-ons and slides. So we're going to hit this note 2 times. And then I'm sliding from 5th to 7th, and then hammering on from 5th to 7th on the A string. Back here. So let's go back to that piece now. Good little first chunk to get down. And then there's an answer to that. Quick hammer on. And then you're working your way back down. Now you notice on this slide here, you can kind of fudge this a little bit for style. Sometimes you can slide from here. Sometimes you can slide from a half step lower. Gives you a nice little variation there. So try doing both of them and getting comfortable with both ways. Then when you get into the groove of it, you can kind of mix it up. That's kind of what he does when he plays the tune. He'll go a different place each time he gets back around to it to keep things fresh and interesting. We saw there, it feels the same, it sounds almost the same, but it's just enough different to kind of keep things, like I said, moving along, interesting, give you somewhere else to go. Hey, when we think about tunes like this, John Mayer tunes and otherwise, you think great soloing, right? We think about doing some blues rock based soloing, and this tune would be a fun one to launch into once you got that groove happening. So we want to give you a free video lesson on some blues rock soloing concepts, some new ideas that you can bring into your playing, new exercises, new approaches, scale patterns, just basically a lot of good stuff for you guys to check out. And we're going to include a coinciding ebook that diagrams out a lot of the scale patterns, different choices, approaches, exercises, examples, all that good stuff. And it's all going to help you take that blues rock soloing game up to the next level. All you got to do, we're going to send that to you for free. Just click on the link that you see below in the YouTube description box, and we'll send that to you from Epic Guitar Instruction. So once you get that riff feeling good, what we want to do is be able to add some chord work in between some of those notes. So all I'm doing there is playing this note with my thumb so I can hit the rest of the chord with a little accented stab there. So start throwing that in there and see if we can get that all together juggling wise, right? That's kind of the thing with this tune, is it's a lot to juggle going back and forth. But just like juggling, start with one and, you know, start adding in some other ones. Just don't try chainsaws. It's a bad experience.
Flaming torches?
Yeah, I mean, those are okay because you can heal up from those. Chainsaws are a little more permanent, though. So, very careful, one at a time. So as we get more and more comfortable with that, we can continue to build on that. When we come up here and play a riff, instead of keeping it all single notes, you can kind of start working into double stop land. You know, I'm barring this note as well, and I play both strings there. That is something else I can do. And again, the spirit of the guitar part here, I think, is just to mix it up. You don't have to do it that way every time. We just see that the riff is the foundation, and we can embellish it as we feel. So sometimes I'll go double stop. Other times you can just go single notes. And once you realize this, you can go to other strings too for variation there. So there I just changed up my riff. And just did the exact same thing but moved to a different string. It's all very much in G major pentatonic world. That's kind of what we're using to outline all this stuff. So that kind of gives you an outline of how to get the groove going over the G. And rhythmically speaking, once you have that feeling pretty good, you're doing pretty much the same things when you move throughout the other chords of the tune. So now when we go to our C chord, which we'll voice like this, kind of same sort of groove, you know, hitting the root of your voicing. And then just riffing in between that, right? For those of you who might have noticed, this chord shape corresponds right with that pentatonic scale there. So that's where all of your little embellishments and ideas can come right out of. And then back to G. C. And so as we're moving throughout the structure of the tune, it's just all up to you how you want to embellish that. So after you have all those pieces put together individually, all you got to do is just string them together in the correct order for the structure of the tune, and you're off and running. So the basic structure for the tune is we're going to go G for a bar, C for a bar, then G for 2 bars. It's a 12-bar form. So we have G for our first measure, C, back to G, G again. So that's our first 4 measures. Now we're going to be on C for 2, Still here, back to G for 2. And then the hook, the Something Like Olivia line happens on the turnaround, right? The D to C to G. So this will be the 9th measure. C on the 10th. And then in G on the 11th and 12th. I'll just play all the way through and count the measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that's the tune. And then as you continue to move through it, like we talk about, you can really elaborate on some of those chord voicings, do some interesting things rhythmically, just have a fun time with the form. Basic 12-bar form filled up with a lot of cool rhythmic ideas and cool riffing potential within those chords. So that's Something Like Olivia by John Mayer. I thank you so much for checking out this lesson. I'm Ben from Epic Guitar Instruction. And hey, if you like the lesson, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment below. Feel free to subscribe, and we'll let you know each time we add new lessons to the channel. We thank you so much. Once again, Ben Zinn, Epic Guitar Instruction, and I'll see you next time.